Bella.
All lanes shut down in Corona, southbound up to 15 at the 91. This is a weekend-long closure until around 4 o'clock Monday morning. You're being diverted onto the 91 west. In West Covina, westbound 10 between Vincent and Pacific. All lanes there shut down until around 5 o'clock this morning. Watch for delays starting at East Avenue. And Costa Mesa 405 southbound Harbour to Bristol. All lanes coned off till 6 a.m. Back up there to Euclid. Northbound 405 Brookhurst to Warner. All lanes shut down until around 7 o'clock in the morning. Kfi in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert Kubucky.
Here's to the great American settlers, the millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from Iowa and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, hey, I'm no settler, I'm an explorer. Spreaker.com. Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
There's a lot of COVID info out there, but not all of it's true. So it's important to remember the facts. Do COVID-19 vaccines give people the virus? Nope. It's actually the opposite. Vaccines teach our cells how to fight COVID-19. And just like other vaccines, COVID-19 boosters help keep our immunity strong. Share the facts, not the virus. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Cut the cord from the electric company.
I look at our electric bills and they keep going up and up and up.
There are times where we have rolling blackouts.
So I knew that there was going to have to be something I could do.
Semper Solaris is your local veteran-owned solar and battery storage contractor.
We just said we've got to be different. We got to keep our word. We have to do the right things for the customers. Work hard and keep your word. That's what we do every single day.
The savings are better than what I expected.
My last bill was actually a credit.
From my experience, I would say I would go with Semper.
And I said, I want the A-Team. I want the best of the best. This was the A-Team.
From the beginning to the end, they have been the best.
Semper offers new AC systems with a lifetime warranty and new roofs with a 50-year warranty. Go solar American style with Semper Solaris. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2023. Get the federal 26% solar and battery tax credit. $500 downloadable coupon. $500 off for military first responders and healthcare workers. Call 877-211-5591. For all offers, call or see website for details. Offer expires 6/30/2022. CSLB number 978152.
History isn't always boring. In fact, sometimes it can be downright creepy. I'm Aaron Mankey, the creator and host of Lore, a podcast that gives new life to the darkest stories from history. And this week, we're celebrating our 200th episode. Discover the legendary podcast that gave birth to a TV show and a book series, and unlocked a love for the darker side of history in the hearts of millions of people around the world. Listen to Lore today on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday, September 24th.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Keep listening to win your way there before you can even buy tickets.
On sale Friday, June 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.
But starting June 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Capital One cardholders can score tickets and other awesome experiences before anyone else for 48 hours only or while supplies last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet?
KFI AM 640.
So many ways to see what you think you get free. The woman is wild, she gets tamed by the bird of the jealous. Money's the matter. If you're in for love, you ain't gonna get too far.
To Richard Serif, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Richard from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM. with your guest host, Richard Serif.
Say hello on Twitter, at Richard Serif. The website is strangeplanet.ca. Sitting in for George Norrie tonight this morning, and that's the Starlight Orchestra's rendition of a Hall & Oates classic, Man Eater. Well, this is sure to further blur the line between human and machine. Scientists have developed skin tissue for robots. This according to a new study. The crafted skin is 0.06 inches in thickness and made of the top 2 layers of skin. Researchers say the development could be useful to make transplants and pharmaceuticals. You can read more in the news section up at coasttocoastam.com. And tonight on Coast to Coast AM, Saturday night into Sunday morning, I'll be back in the big air chair. In the first half, author and biblical researcher Josh Peck will join me to discuss the secretive, mysterious Jewish sect known as the Essenes and the importance of the Dead Sea Scrolls and what they reveal for these final years of our current age and what is ahead in the next age. In the second half, John G. Hughes joins me. He's part of a lineage of Druids that's been practicing for 5 generations, speaking about chivalric knightly orders, such as the Knights Templar, who brought along monastic mediciners to treat the sick and wounded, and he'll share the remedies the mediciners employed, a range of magico-medical applications such as charms, spells, enchantments, and amulets used to address the new illnesses of strange and foreign lands. All right, back to my conversation with Charles Lear, the author of The Flying Saucer Investigators, plus your calls right here on Coast to Coast AM.
We have a great story from someone who's helped themselves to heal by using the botanical known as carnivora. And we have a guest right now. Her name is Joni Nichols. This is quite a story.
Yes, it is. And Robert, my adventure started about 7 years ago. I was a mess. I had numerous infections. My hair was falling out all over the furniture. One of the scariest things was that my legs were swelling up out of control. It came to a head. Within 24 hours, I had gone into a coma.
Holy tamale.
Mom and Dad decided to get me carnivore's 6-week program.
At what point that you started this series did you notice, hey, something might be getting better?
Within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, Robert. The first thing I noticed was that I felt better waking up. Then I noticed that my hair wasn't all over the furniture. I'm excited.
It's like you said that within about 6 weeks, your legs were no longer swelling?
Within 2 weeks.
And she credits all of it to her carnivora protocol, the B program, where she's using the carnivora extract, the lymph drainage product. And I endorse it. I utilize it. My wife is using it with great success. This has been such a rapid recovery that I guess we had to do it. Joni, thanks for being with us. I'd love to hear from you again.
Great.
Hello, people. George here. Carnivora is at it again. Just listen to that. Call 1-866-836-8735. That's 1-866-836-8735 or visit carnivora.com. CARNIVORA. That's carnivora.com. Call them, please.
If you're in the market for a new home or your dream home, go with a lender you can count on for competitive rates. Over 300 loan products and thousands of loan consultants to help make sure you get the home and the mortgage that you want. Call now to see if you're pre-approved. 866-888-LOAN. 866-888-LOAN. Or go to LoanDepot.com. Loan Depot, where home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
The Flying Saucer Investigators by Charles Lear, out just in time to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the beginning of the golden age of flying saucers. And that would be, of course, June 24th, 1947, and the Kenneth Arnold sightings. Let's jump right into the calls here. We're going to go to Texas and Christine. Good morning, Christine. Welcome to Coast AM.
Good morning, and I love this show. I was wondering if there had been a survey of all the UFO sightings in the USA and maybe Canada and Mexico in 1947, because I don't know where I heard this, but there were UFO sightings in like lower Michigan around the Detroit area or somewhere in there several days before the Roswell incident.
I can answer that.
All right, go ahead.
Really good, a really good source for that is a book written by Ted Blocher. He was also a co-author of the report on the Kelly Hopkinsville incident. But yeah, he wrote an extensive book about the 1947 sightings. You can find that, I believe, on NICAP.org. Believe it or not, NICAP there's still a NICAP website that's maintained by Fran Rich, but they have 3 publications. I believe that's there. So if you want probably the most detailed report on 1947 sightings, that would be that book, Ted Blocher, Bloecher.
It really was the summer of the saucer, wasn't it, 47?
Oh, totally, yeah, and a whole hell of a lot of hoaxes. But you know, I'm coming off like a total skeptic here. I just want to assure I'm very open-minded about the subject, and there are some that I definitely wonder about. But yeah, the people were putting just discs in everybody's yard, and people were coming to the papers, and the papers were just reporting on all of it. And a lot of people consider it yellow journalism, but you know, just such obvious home-constructed beasts, just these little things glued together, and like a Catholic priest actually came out with an actual saw blade with wires and condensers stuck on it and said that this was a flying disc, and they reported on it.
And got his 15 minutes of fame, I guess. So mostly, you know, as he's traveling or crisscrossing the country, interviewing witnesses and writers and so forth, was there any particular case that impressed him, that he thought, wow, there's something to this?
That's a very good question. None that I can think of offhand. I mean, I'm sure that the Washington merry-go-round impressed everybody. So I assume it impressed him as well. He really stayed in the middle his entire career. And, you know, I don't believe he mentions anything that just really impressed him more than anything. Yeah, he looked at the funny side of it, so you know, he was more likely to write about the hoaxers. No, I really can't answer that question.
Did he ever get discouraged with the field? I mean, but he stuck with it for so long. I mean,
he had fun. It was a social activity for him, and just a source of amusement.
All right, wild card line Wayne is in Tacoma, Washington, right up there in Kenneth Arnold territory. Wayne, welcome to Coast.
Good evening, Sir Richard and Sir Charles. Yeah, I'm right in my backyard in Maury Island. It's been totally fascinating to me, and I've spent many, many hours reading stories and doing research on that myself. But a couple of the things that I think maybe were covered over, or maybe not brought out clearly, was that Dole was on a fishing boat when the donuts were going over, and one was floundering and dropping liquid metal. I believe that it was some of the liquid metal killed this dog, if I remember right.
It was chunks, hot chunks, as he described it.
Okay. Yeah, right. And from what I recall, they took you said it was like a cereal box full of the metal that went onto the plane, and from what I recall, the plane was caught on fire or something before it crashed. Is that?
Yeah. I think some bad seals. In any case, yeah, it caught on fire, and Brown and Davidson evacuated got the passengers out, and went down with the plane.
And the one thing that I wanted to ask you about, if you've come across anything, was the flying sausage that supposedly happened during the 1930s and was put under the Capitol building several floors during the I guess it would be the Roosevelt administration. And that made me think of...
I don't know anything about that.
I'm not familiar about that either. They hit a UFO underneath the wing.
I just wanted to mention, you're researching this. If you go to the Vault, the FBI has a site called the Vault, and you can find the FBI file on the Maury Island case, which is fascinating. I actually cite it in the book and reference it. But you know, FBI UFO files, so you can find CIA UFO files online, and they're fascinating. But yeah, it's definitely a perspective on this case, on the Maury Island case.
Wayne, thank you for the call. Let's say hi to Rich. He's in Redwood City, California. Rich, good evening. Welcome to Coast.
Welcome, thank you. I was wondering, what opinion do you have of the current day ufologists such as Jacques Vallée and Richard Dolan, and also the commentator Peter Levenda, who claims that the anecdotal evidence is so overwhelmingly convincing that he's quite willing to accept that you can maybe conclude that there really are extraterrestrials just on the basis of the anecdotal evidence, for example.
Well, I have a great deal of respect for Vallée, you know, I'm open to the points of view of all researchers. But my opinion, is that I think the private investigators have done a far better job than our government, the military, the Air Force investigation. As you read Ruppel's book and just read, the history as was revealed to me as I was writing this book, it's like they're bumbling and making things up as they go along. The private investigators, I think, have far more information, even to this day. A key point was in the recent hearings in Congress. Scott Bray kept emphasizing that they were destigmatizing reporting, and that they actually were setting up a protocol for reporting. Well, if the military, the DoD doesn't have, if reporting is stigmatized and there's no protocol for reporting, how can they possibly have more information than private investigators who welcome this and collect this and investigate boots on the ground, finding trace evidence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think the best evidence is actually in the people's hands.
Right, I was, thank you for the call, Rich. I was surprised, maybe I'm being naive, but I was surprised that Scott Bray, the, I guess, Deputy Director, Office of Naval Intelligence, wasn't really familiar. He was questioned, I think, about UAPs.
He didn't know how
he didn't know about these UAPs over nuclear facilities.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Howard is in Vancouver, Washington. Howard, good morning. Welcome to Coast.
Hello, Richard and Charles.
Hi.
Just to clear something up, Wayne on the earlier call, the case he was referring to was Cape Girardeau in 1941.
Oh, I don't know about that one either.
Yes. Supposedly a disc crashed in there, and it was recovered by the military. But anyway, that wasn't what I called out. Several years ago, I got myself in trouble with both Kevin Randall and Bill Burns. All I had to do was bring up Maury Island. They both pretty soundly put me in my place about that. They're convinced it was an absolute hoax. But I watched, Bill Burns hosted a program called UFO Hunters.
Right, yeah, I'm familiar with
the very first episode, they investigated Maury Island. Now, went up on that beach there, and they gathered up all of this material they thought was unusual, slide-like material. A lot of it's still there. They even sent a scuba diver down to pick stuff up off the bottom of Puget Sound there, and they brought it back and analyzed it. Now, one of the things they did is, discovered, I should say, is that it had unusual magnetic characteristics, really anomalous stuff. And one of the experiments that caught my attention is that they tried to burn it. They ignited it with an arc welder, and this stuff burned like magnesium flare. I mean, quite hot and ferocious. Bill Burns insisted that there, at one time, that there had been a metal smelter, an iron smelter of some kind there, and this was slag that was left over from it. Now, I can't think of any iron ore or any other kind of ore that would have those characteristics that would burn like that, and that's the thing that sticks in my mind. That's a mystery to me. Because he never brought that up, but I sure, he had it on film in that first episode, and I sure remember it.
All right, Howard, thank you for that. Any thoughts on the trace evidence and from Maury Island, Charles?
No, not particularly. I find it fascinating that people are still looking at this case after so many years and still debating it. I mean, that's what's one of the things I love about saucerology, ufology, is that, these cases do not die. They'll be resurrected over and over and over again, and people have, spirited debates about them. I think that's healthy.
All right, first-time caller, Dean is in Wisconsin. Dean, welcome aboard.
It's great to be with you, Richard. You're my favorite host since Art Bell, so it's fantastic to be on your show.
Oh, thank you for that. That's very kind of you.
And Charles, I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm looking forward to reading your book. I just wanted to call quickly to say I was fortunate enough to know Jim Mosby a little bit. I used to correspond with him when he had his newsletter, Sources Smear, and I spent a little time with him just one-on-one at a conference, a UFO conference in Florida back in the day.
Oh, very cool.
The great value of Mosley, which we sometimes forget about, is because there's nobody like him anymore. He was like this gadfly on the neck of ufology. He gave everybody a hard time. He thought it was...
He seemed like he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he joked about the hoaxes that he pulled with Gray Barker back in the day. And
I
always remember...
I held the wooden model of that's the Lost Creek saucer. I actually got to hold it. I was in Clarksburg, Harrison Public Library. They have the Gray Barker archives. I got to actually hold the wooden thing they used to make the casting, the ceramic casting of the Lost Creek saucer. So that was really awesome.
Oh, fantastic. And they also did the strafe letter, of course, where they managed to hoax on some official government stationery.
I covered that in the book, and that's it's hysterical how people that just went on and on and on.
He was still laughing about it in the late 90s, I'm sure on his deathbed he was still laughing about that hoax.
Yeah. Well, he came clean. He and Gray Barker had a pact that whoever died first would reveal the hoax. And so Barker died, I think, in 1988, and Mosley just came clean about it, and along with all the other letters they wrote as well. So they wrote a letter to APO saying they had to shut down because they should shut down because there was a investigation by the U.S. Postal Service coming their way, and other organizations and people. They basically said, you've been infiltrated, or could you tell us your views on peace groups, et cetera, and all this on State Department stationery, which a friend of Barker's gave him. They got drunk and wrote a bunch of letters and sent them out.
Dean, thank you for the call. How do we get a copy of the book, The Flying Saucer Investigators, Charles?
Oh, good old Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
Type in the title and my name, and it'll pop up. It's available in Kindle audiobook, hardcover, softcover, and Also, a German publisher approached my publisher, so they're publishing it in German for those of you German speakers out there.
Well, it's a great read. It's a real page turner. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure you had a lot of fun writing it, and it was great hanging out with you.
It was an adventure. I really enjoyed it.
And I enjoyed meeting you and speaking with you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Richard. You have a great night.
You too. Charles Lear. All right. When we come back, it begins 2 hours of open lines on a Friday night, Saturday morning. Taking us into the break, here's a new one from some old friends, ABBA, When You Dance, on Coast to Coast AM.
I can remember when you left your ready, and you told me I'd return next year. I never meant to hold you to your promise, and the years went by and I'm still here. So you left all the feeling. I hope you like it there. You're only here now.
It was a beautiful June morning in Southern California,
Birds were chirping, the sun was shining.
and somewhere on a quiet residential street, a sink was clogging.
The couple experiencing the clog
Mr. and Mrs. JP